A Joplin church joins the push for vaccinations in our area. Plus, a new Missouri law provides greater oversight of unlicensed residential care facilities for children. We'll look at its connection to a Southwest Missouri boarding school. And named for a hero will have the significance of the new name adorning a portion of State Highway 43 in Newton County.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Jasper County, Missouri authorities are searching for 2 suspects in connection with a shooting in Carl Junction. This is KOAM News at 6. This is a developing story. The Sheriff's Department says witnesses reported hearing gunshots in the parking lot of Harp's grocery store around 1:35 this afternoon. Investigators say they found evidence in the parking lot of a possible shooting, including evidence of, quote, possible injuries. Authorities say they've located the victims, a 22-year-old Webb City woman and a 33-year-old man from California. They're both in the hospital with what police are calling non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office released a description of the possible suspects. They say the driver was a black man driving a dark red Kia SUV. His passenger, another suspect, is a black man with 4 braids in his hair and neck tattoos. Southwest Missouri sees an increase in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. More people have decided to get vaccinations. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more on why health officials all over Missouri are seeing an increased interest.
Southwest Missouri is dealing with its worst COVID-19 case surge since last winter. The rise of new variants and increase of younger populations being hospitalized are some reasons those who were hesitant to get vaccinated are choosing now to do so. Just a few weeks ago, Prater's Pharmacy in Webb City barely saw anyone come in for a shot.
A few weeks back, we saw, it was dwindling down to almost no vaccines daily. We had, in the past done a whole bunch. We were doing, 20 to 30 a day, and then it dropped off to almost 0. And then in the past couple of weeks, we've had a huge increase.
This increase has led to more vaccine clinics, like one held on Thursday at James River Church in Joplin.
Earlier this week, we did a clinic at each one of the Springfield locations, and it was just logical for us to come on down here to Joplin to take care of the 4th campus.
The church is partnering with the Jordan Valley Community Health Center to get more vaccines out into Southwest Missouri. They say churches were the perfect spot as they're usually empty during the week.
We just have to continue to keep getting the word out. Hopefully we'll continue to go to churches like James River and offer these clinics. There are vulnerable populations all over the southwestern part of the state.
With mobile clinics like this one, they're able to reach more who otherwise may not have gotten vaccinated.
Well, I'd been pretty nervous about getting my shot up to this point.
Katie Rattles, a Joplin school teacher, had COVID back in January and developed neurological symptoms in March. Because of this, she worried how her body would react to the vaccine. But with local cases surging and the school year approaching, she decided to get her shot.
I'm going to be working at the middle school this year, and I'm going to have a lot more students. I just feel like it's really important for me to do my part to stay safe and keep the kiddos safe.
The Community Health Center says they hope by getting more vaccines out, Missouri can see an end to COVID-related hospitalizations and deaths. In Joplin and Webb City, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Joplin Health Department is hosting a walk-in vaccine clinic at tonight's 3rd Thursday. They're offering the Moderna vaccine. Southeast Kansas is also seeing rising cases of COVID-19, including cases of the Delta variant. Statewide, Kansas recently saw its highest 7-day average of new cases since March, around 350 cases per day. We spoke with the Wilson County health officer who also practices family medicine to hear about what she's seeing.
The thing that we are learning is that most of the residents of this long-term care facility were vaccinated, and most of them only have mild symptoms. So this is great news because the vaccine seems to be doing exactly what we hoped it to do. We hoped that it would prevent hospitalizations and death. We really hoped it would prevent disease, but we know that the reality is that we want less severe disease to occur in especially vulnerable adults.
The doctor says people who are not vaccinated can suffer more severe symptoms, and many are sent to hospitals elsewhere as cases strain local hospital resources. Doug Hetty, parts of the area, good parts, seeing some rain at the moment.
Yeah, we've been getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly in our northern counties over the past couple hours, but eventually everybody will get into the action. As of right now, you can see scattered thunderstorms really from Stockton Lake, Nevada, and then stretching back toward Yates Center. And some of these have been stronger. I think most of them tonight are just going to be good old summertime storms, but we could get a few stronger ones, maybe a low-grade severe one as we go through the overnight hours. All right, here's Nevada over toward Fort Scott, so along 54, and then stretching Erie, Chanute, pretty good little cell, and then another one just to the west of Yates Center. And these are mainly rolling off toward the east, but they will start to develop a little bit farther south as we go through the evening hours. So if you haven't had any rain, which is about 3/4 of us, you will get into the action as we go into the overnight hours, especially after midnight for us tonight. Some very heavy amounts of rain possible as well. Of course, we're going to look into the weekend here in just a bit.
See you then. Missouri Governor Mike Parson has signed legislation for greater oversight of unlicensed residential care facilities for children. The measure comes after allegations of long-running abuse at some Missouri boarding schools. In March, Attorney General Eric Schmidt filed more than 100 criminal charges against the owners of the former Circle of Hope Girls Ranch in Cedar County. They've pleaded not guilty while awaiting trial. The legislation would require such facilities to notify the state of their existence and undergo background checks for their personnel. Missouri students as soon as next year could have access to scholarships for private school through a new tax credit program. Governor Parson signed the new program into law this week. Under the voucher-style program, private donors would give money to nonprofits that in turn would dole out scholarships to low-income families. Donors would get state tax credits equal to the amount they donate. Critics say such programs funnel money away from public schools by drawing students out of those districts, leading to a drop in attendance and a subsequent drop in funding. The Kansas State Board of Education says critical race theory is not part of the state's academic standards, despite claims by an unnamed candidate for office. Board Chairman Jim Porter from Fredonia said it was important for the state to issue a statement, partly because he had read a comment from a candidate for office that inaccurately claimed that critical race theory is being taught in Kansas schools. Board member Gene Clifford said not commenting on the issue could be interpreted as a statement in itself. The board approved the statement yesterday. The Missouri Auditor's Office releases its second report detailing how many Missourians received unemployment benefits. The report shows that through April, 600,000 Missourians had received unemployment benefits. Those benefits totaled $4.9 billion. Auditor Nicole Galloway's office says the report is an effort to ensure transparency in how federal stimulus dollars for COVID-19 relief are spent by the state. Some Kansans on unemployment will now have to take some additional steps to receive their money. The state legislature passed My Reemployment Plan. It's aimed at getting out of work Kansans back into the workforce. People receiving benefits for 3 continuous weeks must submit their resume through kansasworks.com. They also must complete and submit a job search plan form.
Encourages the person filling out the form to develop a plan for reemployment. It walks through an interest assessment, which gauges maybe some careers or some sectors a person is interested in, and then drills down based on that interest to specific jobs.
Unemployed Kansans who don't complete the steps, they could lose their unemployment benefits. Still ahead, a portion of a Newton County highway will now bear the name of this local hero, and doctors will spend their whole lives serving their community. Today, future doctors got things started with KCU We Care Day. A portion of highway in Newton County, Missouri now bears the name of a heroic firefighter. State Highway 43 between State Highway U and State Highway C will be known as the Firefighter Tyler H. Casey Memorial Highway. Casey's family was with Missouri Governor Parson when he signed the designation into law. Casey is credited with saving lives when a tornado moved through that area in May of 2008. He was a volunteer firefighter with the Seneca Area Fire Protection District, assigned to a post near the intersection of Highway 43 and Iris Road to help with storm spotting. He left his vehicle to alert a family parked on the side of the road. The family managed to escape, but Casey was struck by the tornado and died 2 days later. Casey is credited with saving the lives of at least 3 people. Future doctors who will serve our region's medical needs are taking care of some other community service projects first. KCU is hosting its We Care Day. During the first week of orientation at the medical school, student doctors team up with area nonprofits to give back by completing a variety of service projects.
We Care Day is one of the first activities that our first-year students get to experience here at KCU. So this is like their starting off point to reach out into the community to find volunteer opportunities.
Today, student doctors lent a hand walking and bathing dogs and cuddling puppies at Joplin Humane Society. Later, protesters in Oklahoma force an end to a public forum surrounding the Supreme Court's McGirt ruling.
Plus thunderstorms rolling through for the overnight hours tonight. We're going to look at that coming up. It turned out to be another warm, humid day for us today, but showers, thunderstorms increasing over the past couple hours, and this will continue as we go through the overnight hours tonight. That's why we have a flash flood watch in effect. This goes until early afternoon tomorrow, and you can see all of Kansas, Oklahoma, and a good chunk of southwestern Missouri under this watch due to the showers and thunderstorms increasing. Most of these so far have been in our northern counties, really Barton County, Crawford, over toward Allen County, and then Wilson County and north. If you look along the I-44 corridor, so really Pittsburgh, Joplin, Carthage, Neosho, Miami, you really haven't seen anything. Everything is just north of that, really from Stockton Lake, Nevada, pretty good southwestern parts of Vernon County, and then once you get back into northwestern Crawford County, and then back through Neosho County, Erie, Chanute, and then up into Allen County for Iola. But again, these are strong. These are just good summertime storms. A few of these may go low-grade severe as we go through the overnight hours tonight, but I really think our biggest threat here is going to be heavy amounts of rain, just due to how much rain we have seen over the past month or two in the entire 4-state area. These will continue to develop back toward Wichita and then head toward us as we go through the overnight hours. Let's step through time. Here's 9 p.m. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, mainly I-44 and north. As we get toward midnight, they really increase on the Kansas, the Oklahoma side. After midnight, everybody gets into the action. So if you live in our southern counties, you're not really going to have any rain until late tonight into tomorrow morning. This big batch continues to work through. Here's 6 a.m., so if you're getting up early, it will be wet, but the rain will decrease as we go through the morning hours. I think 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we're still going to have scattered showers and thunderstorms around, especially on the Missouri side. Then things will start to dry out just a bit. Where you are getting the rain, 70s. Where you aren't, we're sitting into the 80s. A lot of clouds, Tower Cam, 7th and Range Line. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 80s, 70s. Eventually, most of us will bottom out near 70 later on tonight. Now, this whole mess is really caused from a cold front out across central and western Kansas. This front will just kind of slowly sag south, but it's going to take its time. It's going to take 2 or 3 days. So as long as it's hanging out near us, we're going to have those chances for showers and thunderstorms as we trend right on into the weekend. Once we get rid of the big batch late tonight, most of this will kind of fall apart, but still in the afternoon hours tomorrow, we're going to have some isolated storms. I would say about 30% of us will see a pop-up storm tomorrow afternoon. Most of the heavy rain occurs tonight into tomorrow morning, but this trend continues as we go into Saturday, also on Sunday. Rainfall just tonight, a lot of areas are going to pick up 1, 2, maybe upwards of 3 inches of rain, so we could have some flash flooding across the region late tonight into tomorrow morning. So watch out for that. Be careful, of course. 85 tomorrow, 89 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. I do think we'll get another pretty good batch of thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday morning, but temperatures for July really not that bad, mainly 80s for the next week.
Yeah, unusually cool,
Yeah.
relatively speaking. Thanks, Zach. Hey, before the rain comes tonight, four-staters are once again filling up downtown Joplin. It is Third Thursday, and this is a live look. The event features lots of food, vendors, art, and of course, deals from downtown businesses. We're going to have more from tonight's Third Thursday for you tonight at 9 and 10. Still ahead, a small demonstration becomes a big problem for members of a public forum on the Supreme Court's McGirt ruling. We're going to hear why protesters were there and what they're demanding of Oklahoma leadership. A public forum surrounding the Supreme Court's McGirt ruling ended with Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt getting booed off the stage. The Native American community showed up in protest after there were growing concerns about a lack of Native American representation on the panel. Reporter Lily Cummings was at that tense meeting and has more.
It started with a small demonstration and march to the Cox Business Center. There, the noise and crowd growing, the majority Native Americans.
You know, their concern for victims, stated concern here, is just using it as a cover to, basically further their political objectives.
We caught up with Tulsa County DA Steve Kunzweiler as he walked into the forum.
The whole point is when you're a victim, you didn't ask to be a victim, and so we want to give them as quick information as they can have so they can make the best informed decisions on how best to handle what's happened to them.
Only a handful of questions made it to the platform, with folks in the audience making their position on the McGirt ruling and Governor Stitt clear. Backs turned and signs held up. We asked about the red pieces of paper.
Raise up when we heard propaganda, when we heard lies, because there was just outright lies in there.
The governor and DA's take is that we're all Oklahomans.
We've got 3.6 million non-natives living in the state of Oklahoma. We need to keep all Oklahomans safe, and we put this panel on for victims. Have they been calling it? Have they been calling?
But many in the crowd want to protect their sovereignty, and while DAs continue to say we have to work together, the audience raising their voice, asking how can that be without Native representation on the panel?
We'll go as long as it goes. You know, we're set for 2 hours. I could probably spend 24 hours talking about the McGirt decision.
The governor getting booed off the stage, ending the forum early, which came as no surprise to some.
Well, I don't think anything's going to come out of tonight except for probably a lot of negativity.
The McGirt decision made back in May ruled a large swath of eastern Oklahoma remains an American Indian reservation, and the state prosecutors lack authority to pursue criminal charges in cases involving tribal citizens. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class Brian Hill. The Baxter Springs, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Brian Hill. He's tonight's four-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. President Biden is doing many things differently when compared to President Trump, but dealing with China, that's not one of them. Plus, the expanded child tax credit went into effect today, and that means more money for a lot of American parents. And once again, western wildfires raging as this summer heat continues. We're going to show you where things now stand. Those stories, a lot more, of course, it's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Here in this area, we're going to be getting some rain tonight if you haven't already.
We are. Showers and thunderstorms ongoing right now in our northern counties, but everybody will get into the action, especially after midnight tonight. So it's going to be a loud night, some heavy amounts of rain lasting into tomorrow morning. I think tomorrow afternoon in general is going to be okay. We are going to have a few isolated storms, but thunderstorm chances stick around all the way through the weekend.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.